The following is a special video presentation from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You are watching RJ Debates 2020. Here is your host, Victor Jakes.
Hello, I'm Victor Jakes. Welcome to the Las Vegas Review-Journal's Nevada Judicial Debate Series. Today's debate is between the two candidates running for Clark County District Court Department 18. Joining me tonight are incumbent Judge Mary Kay Holthus and John Hunt. We'll start by giving each candidate 1 minute to make an opening statement. Judge Holthus, go ahead.
Thanks so much. Thank you, Victor, and thank you to the RJ for giving us this opportunity. I think it's super important for the voters. I am Mary Kay Holthus. I was elected in 2018. I've been an attorney in Clark County for about 30 years. I started out in civil litigation, where I spent 2 years before joining the DA's office as a trial lawyer and spent 27 years. 16 of those years I spent with the Special Victims Unit, giving a voice to women and children and seeking justice for victims of sexual assault, child abuse, and domestic violence. I've been in court nearly every day for the last 3 decades, other than 14 days when we were quarantined, and I held court right from this chair. But I've handled thousands of cases, from misdemeanors to murders. I have the experience to balance justice for victims and fairness to the accused and to society. Department 18 handles a split docket. We have a criminal and civil split. I have worked very hard in the last 2 years to be the very best judge that I can be. My husband, Brian, and I have raised 3 children here in Las Vegas. I am a career public servant. For 30 years, my only client has been justice, and I look forward to continuing to serve, to grant equal justice under the law and keep our community a safe place to live. I hope voters will once again elect. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge Holthus. John, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name's John Hunt. I'm running for judge because I believe our community is best served by judges who have experience, legal experience to serve, but also have the personal and deep roots in our community to make a difference in our community. I'm a 45-year resident of Las Vegas. I'm an Air Force veteran. I have 3 children, all Las Vegas born, all rebels, UNLV, I bleed rebel red. But I think that in this particular case, what's really most important is about experience. Experience. Last year, there were 24,000 civil cases and only 8,000 criminal cases. If you don't have a business background, then you can't serve the people. And I am anxious to get that opportunity to get the experience on District Court 18 that encompasses both criminal and civil. I've been a pro tem judge in both justice and municipal court, and I have thousands of courtroom hours experience.
Thank you very much, John. Judge Holthus, we'll start with you. Will you describe your judicial philosophy, including if you view the Constitution as a living document, or if you believe a judge needs to uphold the original meaning of the text?
I believe the founders did a great job in setting up our democracy. I believe the words have meaning, and it's important meaning. And when we can, we should give that meaning But I also understand that times have changed. It's been a long time. And there are going to be times when we have to interpret the words and make sure that we're fitting them into a modern day society. Beyond that, my philosophy is to work hard and promote justice. I work hard. Justice delayed is justice denied. I try to be efficient with everything that I do, and I try to treat all litigants with respect.
Thank you very much, Judge Holthus. John, same question for you. Tell us about your judicial philosophy, including how you view the Constitution.
Well, I think that the most important thing in our life is the Constitution, and that the Constitution was written by some pretty brilliant people. And that as a result of that, I would always defer to the constitutional intent, but anything that would be reserved in a situation where we have to grow. Thomas Jefferson said it best. You can't wear the same coat you wore when you were 6 years old and expect it to fit when you're an older man. And I paraphrase that. So the Constitution is a living, breathing thing, but on most occasions, we have to look at the rule of law and apply it as the intent of the Constitution was. Reckless deviations for that does not serve anyone, does not serve anyone in our society.
Thank you very much, John. John, you'll get this one first. One of the most important roles a judge has is to issue sentences in criminal cases. Will you talk about your approach to sentencing, especially how you'll determine if a criminal should be given a shorter or longer sentence when a judge has a range of options?
This is one of the most important things. It's like having 44 years, 36 years of experience in sentencing. And when I serve as a pro tem judge, I tell everyone first thing when they come up, if I mispronounce your name, please tell me, but it's about respect. But I also tell them, as a judge in the sentencing aspect, I'm going to look whether you have a book of business, right? If you have a history that lets me know who you really are, then I'm going to exercise that discretion. I tell them, I say, if you have a book of business, don't expect me to exercise a lot of discretion. But if you don't have a book of business, in justice to those people, first-time offenders, people that are looking to the court to treat them equally and fairly. And so in the sentencing process, I really believe that judges need to do their homework, look at the person's history, look at the degree of the crime, look at the severity of the crime, and then you have to do that. That's how you become a good judge.
Thank you, John. Judge Holthus, what's your approach to sentencing?
I've been doing that for 29 years. So my approach is exactly what you're supposed to do. There's guidelines that we have to be within. A lot of cases are negotiated, so a lot of the decisions are already made before we get to them. But having said that, I've had a tremendous opportunity in 29 years. We talk about experience being important, and my experience in the criminal arena has been, like I said, every day. I know the career criminals. I know the violent offenders who there isn't a lot we can do with to protect society. But on the other hand, there are a lot of people who are low-level, nonviolent, first-time offenders who need to be afforded the opportunity for rehabilitation. We have amazing diversionary courts and programs. We have veterans court and drug court and mental health court, and all kinds of courts that can help people who maybe have a problem for a minute, otherwise law-abiding citizens, but then they find themselves in the court. I'm very liberal with rehabilitating people who need to be rehabilitated. Having said that, I'm very conservative when it comes to protecting society and putting people away that need to be put away.
Thank you, Judge Holthus. And our judicial debate will continue in just a moment.
All your listeners and followers, the best name of any podcast in the world is podcast.
Nobody's ever done it. Nobody's ever faked
Not that we
their
know
death.
of.
No.
When you work with Prince, you got to get used to the fact that he changes musicians like underwear. You know, like
Tom Brady. And Tom Brady, he's a quarterback in the Boston area.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Get ready for every Raiders game with us. Vegas Nation Game Day will give you everything you need to know about each week's matchup.
I'm excited.
Sundays at 9 a.m. starting in September on Your View. Vegas Nation Game Day coming this September.
You're watching the general election debate for Department 18. It's part of an ongoing series of debates produced by the Las Vegas Review-Journal to inform local voters about these important races. Judge Holthus, you were a prosecutor for over 25 years. Should Clark County residents be worried that your past means you're too harsh on those accused and convicted of crimes?
No, I don't think so. That question was asked a lot when I first took the bench, and I think if you talk to anybody that appears in front of me, they'll tell you that there was no worry there. The beautiful part about being a DA was my client was literally justice. The ethics were that I had to do justice, not just put somebody away, not just win a trial, but do the right thing every time. And I've seen people do very bad things, people do very stupid things, and I have the most experience in determining which is which. And society is better served if we can rehabilitate people and put them back in the workforce and back taking care of their families. For the majority of the people. Having said that, I also know what a violent offender is. I know what a repeat offender is. And I have been exercising that discretion. But again, serving only justice to protect society and to do the right thing for all involved under the law.
Thank you, Judge Holthus. John, you've had a long legal career which has included real estate transactions, commercial litigation, and over 25 years working for the Union Pacific Railroad. That's a lot of experience in civil law. Will you be prepared to handle criminal cases if you are elected and assigned those types of cases?
You know, that is a great question, because I think that my 10 years of being a pro tem judge in justice court and municipal court has prepared me for the criminal aspects. And what's really important for me is, again, everything's learning, but here's the deal. With 36 years of experience and 10 years on the bench doing the justice court, I'm ready, because I believe that the most important thing is justice. Justice from a criminal standpoint, it's critical so that people, poor people, people of color, know that there's a judge up there that has empathy for them, not sympathy. And you get that by having a life, having a life that's full. And my life has been full, and I believe that, do I need to learn? Every day we can learn something new. And I'm going to learn something new every day. But as far as being ready, I am ready. I am ready so that people know from a criminal calendar, they're going to be treated with dignity and respect.
Thank you, John. John, what characteristic or experience do you have that makes you the best candidate for this seat?
I think that the most important thing is my characteristic as to my judicial demeanor, my experience, knowing that everyone that comes into my courtroom is going to be treated with dignity, respect, and equality, and being particularly sensitive to poor people, to people of color, who otherwise this system is not always fair to. And that has to be looked into. And again, that doesn't mean that people there are given a pass, but means that they're going to be held accountable if they, again, and I'll go back to this, sometimes it's common sense. Do you have a book of business?
Thank you very much, John. Judge Holthus, same question for you. What characteristic or experience do you have that makes you the best candidate for this seat?
I mean, I hate to beat it, but I've got the experience with the criminal justice system. I do have a judicial demeanor that I respect everyone. I never raise my voice in court. I treat everyone with respect. I give everyone that deserves a chance. The people who don't deserve a chance, I don't give the chance to. I do believe in law and order, but I also believe in kindness and compassion when appropriate.
Thank you, Judge Holthus. Judge Holthus, Nevada, as you know, has several specialty courts, including felony DUI court, mental health court, and juvenile drug court. Do you think Nevada has the right number of specialty courts, or do you think there is a specialty court that needs to be added or removed?
I don't. I've heard some talk about some traumatic brain injury court potential. I can't off the top of my head come up with one. What I think we need with the courts, they are amazing. Our diversionary programs are absolutely top notch. They're doing great things for people. I've got defendants coming in all the time saying, thank you, Judge Holthus, for sending me. This has been life-changing for me. What I wish we had were more resources for the programs that we do have, that we had more rooms, that we didn't have to have wait lists, that we didn't have to refuse people because maybe we don't have a bed in that particular program. But overall, we've got some amazing ones. We've also got youthful offender programs that are dealing with the youth, the FIT program, the OPA program, the boot camp program. John Ponder has the Hope for Prisoners program for reentry for felons coming back into the society and the workforce. We've got some really good stuff, but we can always use more. And I would certainly be open to anything that anybody came up with.
Thank you, Judge Holthus. John, same question for you. What are your thoughts on Nevada's specialty courts?
Well, what I think the specialty court near and dear to me is the veterans, as being an Air Force veteran. But I think most importantly about the specialty courts, they're all great, and Judge Holthus is correct. These people are, selfless in doing these programs. But one of the things that really bothers me about all of the programs, I don't think there's enough emphasis on mental illness. Mental illness touches every one of those programs. And those programs sometimes are myopic in really getting into the drilling down. How is mental illness affecting each one of those programs? And I think that needs to be addressed.
Thank you, John. And stick with us. This debate will continue right after these messages.
With so much excitement building around the Raiders and their inaugural season in Las Vegas, the fans want to be heard. The launch of Vegas Nation Fan Zone is their answer. That's right, Raiders fans can sound off on all things Raiders, from players to coaches to even the new Allegiant Stadium. Vegas Nation Fan Zone is accessible 24/7 and allows fans to generate and upload their own posts for lively interaction. Simply go to fanzone.vegasnation.com to sign up today.
Welcome back, and thank you for sticking with us. You're watching the judicial debate for Department 18. John, this question is for you. What, if anything, most needs to change in the judicial system?
Well, I think that what needs to change most in the judicial system is electing judges with the experience, especially civil experience. Last year, as I said, there were 24,000 civil cases, and there was only 8,000 criminal cases. And although my opponent has a lot of criminal experience for past civil experience, so what's really important is having judges who maintain their calendars. And that is done from a civil sense. I know, having done this for thousands of hours, you must keep your calendar intact. That prevents a domino effect of delay, because as Judge Holthus says, justice delayed is justice denied. That goes all the way up to the Supreme Court. So the number one problem is having judges that have the experience in order to maintain their criminal, as well, most importantly, since it's 2/3 more, their civil calendars. And that, if we had judges with that kind of experience, then you'll have calendars that are moved, trial dates, so that they also make rulings that they know of the law. Because if they don't know the law, that experience will hurt everyone.
Thank you, John. Judge Holthus, what, if anything, needs to change in the judicial system?
I've already kind of touched upon it. My biggest issue is not having the room in the specialty courts and the diversionary programs. Mr. Hunt was concerned about mental illness, and I can tell you that the Veterans Court does have a mental illness component where they address it. We also do have a mental health court. We have what's called the co-occurring court, which addresses people who have mental illness, but also drug problems, oftentimes self-medicating to deal with a mental illness. So we do have courts and programs that address that. We just don't have enough of it. I believe that we need more criminal judges. The volume may be different, but we need good criminal judges who have the experience. You have the time to get up to speed on a civil case. There's a 5-year rule. When you're in criminal court, you've got people in jail. You've got 60 days to trial. So we need to have judges up and running. We also have overflow. So all of our judges, even civil judges, need to have experience in criminal, because there's going to be time when we need to get people to trial, and we're going to have to ask the civil judges to also pick up, and they do, in fact, so that we can make sure that we're not stepping on speedy trial rights.
Thank you very much, Judge Holthus. Judge, recently there was a fierce legislative debate over if businesses and governments should be responsible if their employees or customers catch coronavirus. Would you tell the viewers how you would approach a case where, for instance, a teacher sued the Clark County School District after being infected with the coronavirus?
It's a real easy answer. I'd follow the law. That's all I can do as a judge. My opinion, my thoughts on anything don't matter. I will follow the law as it exists at the time and apply it to the facts.
Thank you, Judge. John, same question for you. How would you approach a case where a teacher is suing the Clark County School District after catching the coronavirus?
I think that's really the question. The real civil question here is, that's foreseeable. Was that foreseeable? And if it's foreseeable and someone doesn't do something about it, unless there's a legislative prohibition against it, which we're seeing, having them have some immunity, then it's not about just following the law. It's understanding the civil law. Was it foreseeable? And did these people put the teacher in an environment that was basically cannot be substantiated? It was reckless. So if those are the facts, then they should be allowed to have compensation for that. But I think that what you'll find is the legislature, in order to protect, the system from collapsing, will do remedies. And I agree with Judge Holthus. If that's the law, that's the law.
And we'll be back with our final segment in just a moment.
The Vegas Nation podcast is your source for all your Las Vegas Raiders news. Subscribe and get fast takes and smart coverage. Download the Vegas Nation app, check out vegasnation.com, and stay up to date with your Las Vegas Raiders.
Welcome back to our judicial debate for Department 18. It's time for closing statements. John, you have 1 minute.
The judicial system is the best great barrier between power of our government and its people. No one, and I mean no one, can take liberty or property from an American without due process afforded by our judges. This election will determine the redirection of Nevada judicial system in these trying times. It will give each and every one of you watching this debate tonight an opportunity to restore fairness. You have to look at the total experience of both candidates and look what is really necessary. Who is going to best serve you, the members of our community, to know that they're going to be treated fairly, justly by people who have experience in both civil and criminal law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Judge Holthus, go ahead.
I want to thank you again to the RJ. Department 18 is a trial court. I'm a trial judge. There are a few attorneys that have had more trials than I have. It is also a criminal and civil department. Again, I've got 4 years in civil. I've been working real hard this year, getting mentored by the best civil judges around to get back up to speed on that. And I've got 29 years of criminal experience. I've spent 29 years, 3 decades serving the public. And my only client has always been justice. I have always worked and want to continue to work to making our community a fair and a safe place to live. I am proud and honored to be endorsed by the SEIU, IATSA, the Prosecutors Association, the Nevada Veterans Association, the Marshals Association, and all local law enforcement. I would very much appreciate the support of the voters again, and on election day for them to go vote Mary Kay. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for joining us tonight. And thank you for watching this edition of Nevada Judicial Debates. Remember, you can find this program and more information on all the judicial races at reviewjournal.com. I'll see you next time.